The sun crept over the horizon. Not our sun, not the yellow one. This was a smaller, distant star, casting a soft, pale light across a vast red desert. From a low vantage point, nestled behind a rust-colored rock, the view was honestly just breathtaking. The colony of Ares Prime emerged from the long shadows of the early Martian morning. It looked like a collection of jewels scattered on red velvet. The silence was absolute, broken only by the faint, imagined hum of machinery and life stirring within. This was humanity's foothold on another world, a testament to engineering, science, and sheer stubborn will. We made it here. We were staying. Long, dark shadows stretched from every structure, painting stark lines across the crimson soil. The thin atmosphere, filled with a fine, floating dust, caught the morning light. It created a beautiful, ethereal haze that softened the edges of the distant cliffs. Sunlight flared against the camera lens, a brilliant burst of energy that reminded you just how alien this place was. Looking up, the sky wasn't blue. It was a thin butterscotch canvas, slowly brightening as the day began. This low angle made everything feel immense. The colony wasn't just a settlement, it was a monumental achievement, a grand statement against the emptiness of space. Each day started the same way. The colony's internal systems would hum to life first. Lights would flicker on inside the habitats. Air recyclers would increase their tempo, preparing for the day's activity. The temperature inside the domes would be carefully adjusted, mimicking a perfect spring morning back on Earth. From the outside, it was a silent, slow awakening. A city waking up in the middle of nowhere. It's a strange feeling, being one of a few hundred people on an entire planet. You feel both incredibly lonely and part of the most important team in human history. Every sunrise felt like a victory. As the light grew stronger, the full scale of the colony became clear. It sprawled across a wide, flat plain at the base of a towering escarpment. In the far distance, the colossal, gentle slope of Olympus Mons broke the horizon, a giant sleeping under a thin blanket of clouds. Its sheer size was hard to comprehend. It made our mountains look like tiny hills, and hanging in the dark sky above, a familiar, beautiful marble of blue and white was rising. Earth, a tiny distant reminder of where we came from and why this new home was so precious. It was our past and our future, all in one stunning view. The most striking features of Ares Prime were the domes. There were 3 of them, massive geodesic structures of gleaming metal and thick, transparent panels. From the outside, they shimmered in the pale sunlight, reflecting the red landscape around them. They looked like giant soap bubbles, fragile yet strong, resting on the Martian surface. Inside each one was a miracle, a vibrant, living ecosystem carefully cultivated and fiercely protected from the harsh environment outside. These domes were not just buildings, they were self-contained worlds, green oases in the middle of a red desert. They were the soul of the colony. Peering through the transparent walls was like looking into another dimension. The interior of the largest dome, the Arboretum, was a lush, dense forest. Tall trees, their species carefully selected for resilience and oxygen production, reached for the curved ceiling. Their leaves were a shocking, brilliant green against the red backdrop of Mars, visible through the glass. Below them, a carpet of ferns, mosses, and flowering plants covered the ground. A small, recycled stream trickled over smooth stones, its sound a quiet murmur of life. This wasn't just for show, it was our air factory, our food source, and our sanity. The other 2 domes were just as vital. One was dedicated entirely to agriculture. Perfectly straight rows of crops grew under carefully controlled light and nutrient systems. We had potatoes, of course, but also wheat, corn, tomatoes, and leafy greens. The sight of a red tomato ripening on the vine, with the red planet just outside the glass, was a constant source of wonder. It was a small, powerful symbol of our ability to make a home anywhere. This dome fed us. It kept us strong. It was the difference between surviving and truly living here on Mars. The soft Martian sunlight filtered through the glass, giving the greenery inside a special glow. The light was different here, weaker and redder than on Earth. The plants had been genetically adapted to thrive in it. In the morning, the leaves would be covered in droplets of condensed water from the atmospheric recyclers, sparkling like tiny diamonds. It was a place of peace. Astronauts would often spend their downtime in the domes, just walking among the trees, breathing the rich, clean air. It was a necessary reminder of the world we left behind, and the one we were trying to build. Surrounding the life-filled domes was the functional heart of the colony, a network of low, sturdy utility buildings connected by pressurized tunnels. These structures were not as beautiful as the domes, but they were just as important. They were built for function over form, made of reinforced composites and metal alloys designed to withstand the temperature swings and dust storms. They housed the power plant, the water reclamation facility, the workshops, and the communication center. This was where the hard work of survival happened 24/7. The constant low hum of machinery was the colony's steady heartbeat. A short distance from the main complex, several shiny landing pads were etched into the Martian plain. They were made of a dark, hardened composite that absorbed sunlight and helped melt any seasonal frost. Today, 2 spacecraft were docked. They were sleek, advanced vessels with polished silver and metallic finishes that reflected the red ground and the pale sky. They weren't the bulky rockets of the past. These were reusable orbital shuttles, designed for efficient trips between Mars and the orbital station high above. They looked powerful and fast, even when sitting perfectly still, silent on the pad. One of the shuttles, the Odyssey, had its cargo bay doors wide open. A team was hard at work. Astronauts in modern, streamlined suits moved with practiced efficiency. Their suits were white and gray with glowing blue indicators on their chests and helmets. They weren't the bulky, clumsy suits of early exploration. These were flexible, form-fitting, and allowed for a wide range of motion. The astronauts worked alongside helper robots, small wheeled droids that whirred and beeped as they transported heavy supply crates from the shuttle to the colony's airlocks. It was a perfect synergy of human and machine. The work was methodical and focused. Some astronauts were carefully unloading scientific instruments, while others guided robots carrying large metallic components for a new solar array. The team was expanding the colony's power grid. Every new piece of equipment set up was a step toward greater self-sufficiency. This wasn't a frantic scramble for survival anymore. It was a confident, deliberate act of construction. We weren't just visiting. We were building a permanent city, piece by piece, under a sky that was not our own. The scene was one of quiet, determined progress. In the foreground, closest to our low viewpoint, 2 rovers were the stars of the show. They were robust, 6-wheeled vehicles, built to handle the rugged Martian terrain. Their bodies were covered in solar panels and scientific instruments, but their most prominent features were the complex, mechanical arms folded at their fronts. These arms were marvels of engineering, capable of drilling into rock, collecting soil samples, and manipulating heavy objects with delicate precision. They were our hands, extending our reach far beyond the safe confines of the colony. They were our scouts, our builders, and our geologists. One rover was stationary, its arm extended and carefully placing a new sensor into the ground. The other was slowly moving away from the colony, leaving deep, clear tire tracks in the fine, red soil. The tracks curved across the landscape, a temporary signature of human presence. They told a story of exploration, of a journey from the safety of the domes out into the great unknown. The red dust, as fine as flour, puffed up around its wheels, catching the light and hanging in the thin air. Seeing those tracks stretch out toward the horizon was a powerful symbol of our endless curiosity. The astronauts in their sleek suits moved with a purpose that was both inspiring and humbling. They were not just scientists, they were construction workers, mechanics, and farmers on a new frontier. One astronaut knelt by the rover, calibrating the new sensor, her movements precise and economical. Another stood nearby, monitoring the data on a wrist-mounted display, her helmet reflecting the vast, empty landscape in front of her. They worked in near silence, communicating through their suit radios, a team united against the challenges of an entire planet. Their very presence here was a triumph of the human spirit. From this low angle, with the rovers and astronauts in the foreground and the grand colony behind them, the scale of the achievement was overwhelming. The long shadows, the floating dust, and the tiny distant Earth rising in the sky, all combined to create a scene of profound wonder. This was more than just a day in the life. It was a snapshot of a dream made real. Humanity had reached out, across the vast, cold emptiness of space, and had found a new place to call home. Here, on the red soil of Mars, under a pale and distant sun, we were not just surviving, we were thriving.